Hello, everyone. Hi, welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Vedleen,
And I'm Jessica.
and this is our channel, Tenacious Woman Energy. And today we're going to be discussing. Wow, my brain just went like, because I just got a text message. I was like, oh, sorry, ghetto. All right, maybe I should turn that off. All right, so today we're going to be discussing depression and anxiety and how to overcome it. So we're just gonna give you, like 3 points in a poem, to go ahead and try to be your best self in these times, especially since we're on Valentine's Day weekend. And I felt like this would be an appropriate subject to talk about.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So let's first, Jessica, discuss, the topic of depression and anxiety. Like, what is that really?
So depression comes in kind of different shapes and forms.
Right.
Some of us are depressed and we don't know it. Some of them are, some people are depressed and they just, they're mistaking it for something else, such as, oh, it's just because of, X, Y, and Z. That's why I'm just a little sad. But depression is basically when you're just in this mind, I guess, fog, when you're just, sad, you're not feeling content, you're not happy. And it just, you can feel different emotions. You can just feel like you're not good enough. You can feel like you're not important. You can feel, like you just feel like you lost hope in whatever,
Right.
whatever you feel like you want for yourself. You can feel that you're lacking something, whether you're lacking love, whether you're lacking a spiritual connection, whether it could be so many different things that can trigger your depression.
Yeah.
And that's why one of the first things that we're going to talk about today is locating depression and also being able to identify it. Because like I said, a lot of us are depressed or may show symptoms of depression. Maybe not you, but maybe somebody you may know.
Right.
Everyone's going through a lot, especially with COVID, and it's just a lot going on in the world, and so everyone's just really just like fighting this war, with the world and with ourselves and our personal lives. So, we're going to just talk about different things that we can identify and locate depression. And then as we continue, we're going to also figure out ways to kind of try to overcome that.
Right. And when you said that we're all fighting battles within this world, something that popped up into my mind, it's very childish, but it just popped into my mind. It's the SBDs, silent but deadlies. And when people say that silent but deadlies is like related to farts, you know what I mean? Like when you like pass gas, that's what people think about. But honestly, you can relate silent but deadly to every area of your life. Like when something is silent, that's when it can most be destructive. You know what I mean? When you are fighting these silent battles in your mind, that's when it has the potential to actually, destroy you. And that's why it's so important to speak up. So I'm glad we created this like platform and, we're trying to help women to just become their best selves. You know what I mean? So definitely everyone is fighting a battle. Not sure what your battle may be, but like Jessica said, the first point is to locate and identify. And like in this channel, we're going to be, relating a lot of things to the Bible. So if you're not spiritual,
it's okay if you're not, because we're going to go to hand in hand. We're going to use a lot of Bible references,
right?
But then also we're getting connected to real world situations, like, and we're going to try exactly. So you don't have to be super holy and godly. It's still something that you can definitely learn from and take away from the videos for sure. Right.
You can, but choose God. Okay.
Choose God always. Always.
But okay, so locate and identify. So for me, what that personally means, and the reference that I like to use, is when Adam and Eve were in the Garden of Eden and they had just eaten the apple and they were hiding from God because that was where God like came and met them. And then they ate the apple, so they knew they did something wrong, and then so they ran and hid. And when God came and was like, where are you? That's when they like kind of said, oh, we were hiding behind the bush because we were naked and all that stuff. So God didn't ask them where they were because he didn't know where they were. If you know who God is, he's all knowing, all powerful, and so forth. So it's not that he didn't know, he wanted them to know. And I feel like when you personally know something, when you can identify with something, when you can locate where you are, you have the potential to change it and overcome it. Like, I can tell you you're beautiful till I'm blue in the face, but if you don't acknowledge it and you don't recognize it, you're not going to believe it. So honestly, people outside can see that you're fine, but if you identify as depressed, then hello. And it's the reverse as well. If people think that you are depressed and you think you're fine, you're not going to see it's a problem. So it's all about identity at that point, just knowing where you are, who you are in that present moment.
What you said was, you hit it right on the head. It's, to go back to the Adam and Eve thing, you definitely are right. He basically said, where are you? And that right there, when they responded, shows, I guess, a little bit of shame,
Mm-hmm.
a little bit of like, okay, self-awareness. Like, we were hiding because we were naked. So they felt a little shameful, and they felt humility.
Yeah.
And sometimes realizing that you are depressed or, or going through a lot, sometimes it does take for you to kind of show humbleness and humility in yourself to say, you know what, I'm not okay.
Yes.
I'm not okay. And I know there's something wrong. And that's the most important thing with being able to identify it, because in the world, we're so, we're used to, you have to be happy, you have to be good, you have to be good, you have to, even if you're, don't let no one see you cry, stay strong, be independent. And it's like, we're human at the end of the day. It's a lot. Some people have a lot of weight on their shoulders to carry. Others, other people do not know that. And so sometimes, it's okay for you to feel like this is too much. It's okay for you to feel that this is heavy. And God knows that about us. And that's why he even says, countless times in the Bible to, put your burdens onto him. Because he knows it's a lot. It can be a lot. Right. One thing I know for sure, what we're going to talk about too, when we dive deep into, our verses, and as we discuss, one thing that we know for sure is that God will never give you anything that you cannot handle.
Right.
And that's something that's definitely important. So whatever you're going through, you're going to get through it. But it's just, you got to take the steps. And number one, you definitely have to locate it and identify it. And you have to sit back. Well, go ahead.
Oh, I wanted to touch back on the topic where you said that in the world, you have to be, strong, you have to be happy, you have to be, all this stuff. And I totally want to just bring in the fact that why we named our channel what we named it, Tenacious Woman Energy. And like, that really just ties in because, as women or even as men, this could be unisex, we are meant to be this strong and independent and just, self-reliant. But, tenacious, when we go back to like the definition, it's someone who is called to be, who never gives up, who never stops trying. And so when we picked the name for this channel, we were basically just looking for a name that's symbolic as to what we want to teach you. And also, not only that you have to be strong into the world, but like she said, you have to be humiliated at some points where, even though you're going through depression, that this is not the end of you, that you will never give up on this fight, and that you are resilient is really what it is. So, humility is a really big part. As we go on, you will see us humbling ourselves of what we've discovered through our walk, and, just being, who we are, how we're able to be transparent. So definitely wanted to like touch on the name play here that we got going on.
I love it. I love it.
Shameless plug, shameless plug.
Right. And the only thing I was going to add on to that was the fact of, it's going to take for you to sit down and do a real honest, keyword honest, self-evaluation.
Yeah.
And it's going to take a lot of self-awareness and, like we said earlier, humility. Humility.
Yeah.
Humility. Okay, I said it right? Because I was thinking about, okay. Anyway. All right. So you're gonna edit that out. So it's going to take for you to definitely be honest with yourself. You're going to have to really sit down and talk to yourself and identify what the issues are and what do you genuinely feel like you're lacking. And that's where you have to start. If you do not start there and actualizing and understanding that, okay, I'm lacking something and I need to figure out what it is, it's only going to get worse. It's not going to get better. Material things will not fix it. Relationships will not fix it. You know, just trying to keep like, you know, glossing over it won't fix it. Out of sight, out of mind doesn't fix it. The only way you can fix it is working through it. And the best way you can fix it is working through it with God.
Yes. And I like that you said when you touched on, you know, material things won't fix it. Other people won't fix it. You know, out of sight, out of mind won't fix it. Ignoring it won't fix it. Basically, you know, you're displaying that we have a tendency when we're depressed to try to go outward and try to get things from the world to go ahead and fill the void that's inside when the work is internal. You know what I mean? It starts within. And that quote that, you know, people always say, oh, happiness is not, you know, something you can go get. It comes from within. And a lot of people, I'm going to say they're scared of what's on the inside because they've never looked inwards before. You know what I mean? And like, so I really kind of want to just touch on that a little bit, is that like a lot of people have never looked inward before. So when you're asking women or people, whoever's watching this right now, to look inward, they don't know what that is, or maybe they don't even like what's inside. And that's why they're trying to fill it up with other things. So it could be a really scary situation because, you know, when I sat down and did this for myself, it was not easy. Like it really was not easy because some of the things that I discovered was just unpleasant. Like,
yeah, and that's where the humility come from, because you really have to humble yourself and really understand like, wow, okay, I'm not going to lie, I'm not perfect, but God already knows this though. But I feel like everyone has a facade, you know, and it's not really our fault. It's just the world that we just live in.
Right.
You know, when you have social media, when you have, you know, certain standards that you have to meet, we already have like a rule book and a list, you know, even though it's not written nowhere, but we already know, you know, you have to dress modestly. If you're dressed, you know, super revealing, you're automatically labeled as this. If you're just more modest, you're labeled as that. Everyone, you know, tries to fit in the box that they feel like they have to fit in order to be perceived in whatever way. And so I feel like and that starts from when we're kids, you know, that starts from whatever box your parents put themselves in is the same box they're going to try to raise you up in, you know? So a lot of people I feel like a lot of people go an entire lifetime never really sitting down and knowing like, who am I? And sometimes when you know, you don't really know yourself, if like, when you're dating someone or you're trying to get to know someone and they're like, you know, tell me about yourself. And you're just like, I mean, like,
yes.
Some people just absolutely hate that question. And the reason why is because they don't know how to answer it. Yeah, me too. I'm like, okay, I'm Jessica. Okay, I'm like 28.
Yes. And a lot of people, that's exactly what I was going to say. People go to what they do for a living. What you do for a living is not who you are. It is what you do. Okay.
Thank you.
And a lot of people misconstrue like, oh, I'm a lawyer. Oh, I am a fast food worker. And you're trying to identify with those things, but you are so much more than that. And I feel like a lot of people, the reason why they kind of have this disconnection with like, you know, like this world or this mindset or this depression state of mind, it's like you don't know that you're more. You feel like I'm just this, I'm just a mother, I'm just a student, I'm just this, and you're not just one thing. That's why when a lot of people are like, you know, they look at somebody and they're like, oh, you're just a preacher, what can you tell me about myself? Oh, you're just a doctor, what do you know about my love life, or something like that. But it all connects. Like we all, like, I don't even know, I'm gonna spiral.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're trying to say. I don't know how to explain it, but I get it. It's basically we're multi-faced, you know. You could, just like how you can walk and chew gum at the same time. You could be an attorney and be a mom. You could be an attorney, a mom, and a wife. You could be a doctor actor and an artist.
Yeah.
You can be multiple different things, you
Right.
know, and do different things and like different things.
Right.
But who you are as a person has nothing to do what you do for a living. What you do for a living is what you do to pay your bills and to live a
Exactly.
lifestyle that you want to live. That is one thing and one thing only.
That is
But
it.
who you are as a person, the best way to know that is if somebody were to strip you fully naked,
Mm.
you know, of your clothes, of your job, of everything, and just fully expose yourself. Who are you? What are your core values?
Mm.
What are your morals?
Mhm.
What is important to you? What do you care about? What do you love? What do you not like? Those things are what make up who you are. Those are what you need to ask yourself. Like, that is the best way to understand where you at, where you stand in life, and exactly
Right.
where you want to go. While you're on earth, what do you want to do? What do you feel
Right.
like is your purpose? You know, do you want to help
That's,
people?
yeah.
And you have to start there.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't ask themselves those type of questions. They don't even think to ask themselves some type of questions
Right.
because they just know from what the universe tells them. So they go through a whole life feeling like there's a void in them
You
because you're
know,
not.
one of the
Mhm.
reasons why, not to cut you off, but one of the reasons why people don't ask themselves those questions is because people have given them their labels, given them
Yeah.
their titles. So it's like, as a child, you know, your parents would be like, oh, you're just a child. And then as like you mature and they're just kind of like, you know, you're just this, you're just this, you're just this. So you naturally adapt to those titles. That's why you never thought, okay, I'm not that. Let me figure out what I actually am, you know?
Right.
So
Absolutely.
I think that's just step number one to healing, is to just locate and identify, you know, where you are. What is your depression? Like, what is that? Like, what is causing you to be depressed?
Yeah. What do you feel like you're missing? You know?
Yeah.
And then, like I said, just humble yourself, understand, and it's okay to, you know, to feel a void, you know, to feel like you're not perfect. It's okay. If something is wrong, sit down with yourself, ask yourself genuine questions. What do I feel like I'm lacking? What do me personally want? Not what your mom or your father, about your husband or whomever. What do you deep down inside feel like would make you feel content? And like I said, it will never be materialistic things,
Never.
and it will never be a relationship with another person.
Right.
It has to be something that you can achieve within yourself that you need to work on. So that's definitely first things first, is identifying and locating the issue.
Okay. And then we're going to move on to point number 2, when it states what's really important. Really, this point to me is just identifying, okay, let's say I sat down, I did my work, I asked myself the real questions, and now I'm looking about, okay, these are the answers to my questions, and this is what my life is looking like. You know, really deciphering what in the two is really most important. Like, okay, well, I'm depressed because I don't have enough money. And I feel as if, you know, if I had enough money to live this certain lifestyle, that I could put my kids through school, or I can, you know, get a house over my head, because, you know, right now I'm just living, you know, in a 4x4 box, and I just want to get out and all this stuff. And you know, you're looking at these things like, okay, these are the things that are making me feel incontent. This is why I'm just happy with my life right now. And you have to really focus on like what's important at the end of the day. When all of this goes away, what is important? And what's important to me is like your happiness, and like, what is true happiness? What is that? And I honestly feel as if true happiness is when you can just be grateful for the things that you have, nothing added, just what you already possess. Like, what's important? Okay, I have my health. I have, you know, people who, oh shit, we lost Jessica.
Oh no, I'm gonna go look at a verse real quick. One of the verses I sent you.
Okay, edit that out.
Right.
You know, like just worrying about the wrong things. Like I said, you know, some people, they're depressed because they don't have enough money, and money is a really big thing right now, where, you know, the less fortunate people aspire and think that fame and money and all this stuff brings happiness, and it doesn't. And so, you know, focusing on what's really important, and that's just when you can figure out what's important, it just, it makes the less important things just seem minute, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like it just makes
absolutely.
everything else feel as if like it doesn't matter because I really know what does matter, you know. In the Bible, I believe it's Matthew 6:25 through 34. You can read that later. It's a long thing. I'm not going to go through it, but it really just basically says that, you know, Jesus is talking. It's and he's just saying, you know, don't worry about anything, because don't worry for tomorrow's troubles. Today's have enough trouble of its own, and like worrying cannot add a single hour to your life, and all these things. And I really feel as if like if you read that verse and you really take it in and you meditate on it, you will feel such a weight lifted off of you, because a lot of people are so concerned about getting there, getting the money, getting the fame, getting the fortune, getting, you know, the blessed life, that they are so discontent with here. And I really feel as if you need to concern yourself with what's important. Like you're trying to get the money, but and you're working all these extra hours, but you're neglecting the people that's around you, you know? And so if you are neglecting the people that's around you, once you get to the end of your days, you'll have all this money. Like Steve Jobs said, you know, I have all this money, but I have little joy. And that really wasn't like what he said, but like it's like paraphrasing the quote he had written before he passed away. And he's the founder
Right.
of Apple. So honestly, if he can say that, you know, like you, like I think a lot of people just are focusing on the wrong thing, and they're making what's really important like other things. Like if you ask somebody, oh, what is your priorities in life? Oh, my priority is family, da 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 da. And you really look at it, they're just working all the time trying to get more and get better and get ahead. And that's not the importance of life. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. To piggyback off what you said about the Steve Jobs situation,
Mm-hmm.
you would think, you know, with the fact of this man created Apple, that literally changed the world.
Mm-hmm.
Because who doesn't have an Apple phone? Who doesn't have a MacBook? You know, like he literally changed the world with technology. And to this day, it's still like, you know, moving forward. And
Mm-hmm.
he's not, you know, he's no longer with us. But that kind of reminds me of, if you want to refer back to the Ecclesiastics, chapter 6, verse 2, where basically this wise man made observations, and he basically said God gives some people great wealth and honor and everything that they could ever want, but then he doesn't give them the chance to enjoy these things. They die, someone else, even a stranger, ends up enjoying their wealth. This is meaningless, a sickening tragedy. So basically, you know, that's why you shouldn't really envy, I mean not envy, but that's why you shouldn't really just focus on the wealth and the money and those things. Those are materialistic things. Those things do not hold legitimate value, for two reasons. First of all, those things do not come from God. So of course they're not gonna, you know, bring you real much, like a lot of joy. Like the man says, you know, you don't get, even though you do all these great things and you have so much wealth, you don't get a chance to like to have joy with them.
Mm-hmm.
And it just gets passed on to somebody else to enjoy them. Just like
Mm-hmm.
he's no longer here, he didn't have much joy, but here I am doing the Zoom call on my iPhone, you
Right.
know? So other people get to enjoy it, but not you yourself. And so that's why you really have to know for yourself what is really important, and not to base it off material things or money, because those things are just, you know, they're meaningless. I'm not going to say they're meaningless, but in this sense, they are meaningless. They don't really, money will itself cannot bring you happiness. But
Right.
if your core meaning and what's important to you is family time, and being able to, you know, have kids of your own and raise kids, and being able to share experiences with your friends and your family, being able to travel, those things are more meaningless, because they genuinely mean, I mean, those things mean a lot and they hold value, because they just have a meaning for you.
Yeah.
Whether it's just being able to, you know, be grateful and be blessed about the people who are around you, and who bring laughter, and who bring and who are there to comfort you, you know, when you are going through your tribulations.
Right.
So
It's not what, you know, it's not what you give people, it's how you make them feel.
yeah, that, yeah, of course, of
Yeah. So
course.
I kind of wanted to jump on that a little bit about it's not about some people let's just say some people are like, okay, well, that's pointless because money's not my issue. My issue is my past and what they did to me. And like, you can't let go of something tragic that happened or trauma that happened in your past. And you're holding on and you're depressed because of that. And I want to talk about a little bit. We're going to make a whole separate video on this. So stay tuned. Shameless plug, by the way. Go ahead and subscribe. But I wanted to talk about forgiveness a little bit on that, because, you know, when you are focusing on the things that haunt you in your past and you can't move on from that, you're stuck from that, and you're depressed from that, you're not giving yourself a chance to fully live in the present. Like, you've made it out of there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to go to like this passage when they were actually in the fire, and like God rescued them from the fire, and like when they came out of the fire, you couldn't even tell that they were in a fire. Right now, you are watching this and you don't even look like you were, you know, abused, or you don't even look like somebody who looks at you, looks at somebody who's sane and whole and perfect, until you open your mouth and start talking and you start reliving that trauma. That's when they know, okay, you're broken and you're stuck and you're hurt and all that stuff. So it's like, you really have to learn to separate yourself from your trauma, you know, and start to let go of that baggage. And forgiveness, I'm not telling you that forgiveness is saying what the person who hurt you or harmed you is right. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is to let go of that baggage so that you can fully move forward in your life as, you know, an adult, and start to be happy, like genuinely happy, not just plastering a smile over your frown, you know what I'm saying, and wearing this mask for society, but generally disconnecting from that baggage, that emotional baggage that trauma brings you, and letting God have it. You know, like Jessica said earlier, is like a lot of the scriptures in the Bible is saying, cast your burdens onto God, cast your burdens onto God. And it's like, if you would just cast that trauma that happened to you to him, and just say, I want to, you know, release this spirit of just anxious thoughts, thinking like, oh, this is going to happen to me again if I let my guard down, or somebody else is going to do this to me. And you're living in this like scared and anxious space, when you really can just let go and just, you know, have hope and trust again. Like, you really have to, I don't even know like the words that I'm looking for. It's like, you just have to disassociate with that identity. Like, I don't know, like, people just get stuck back there, and I don't know how to like really expand on that.
The only thing that you know, I would like to add to that is, one of the easiest ways, well, biblically and earthly.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to say the earthly way, people say, oh, you know, forgiveness is not for the other person, it's for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
so that you can have that peace of mind.
Mm-hmm.
And another quote that a lot of people say is, you know, sometimes you have to forgive someone even if you don't get apology.
Yeah.
And then if you want to go to a biblical standpoint, one of the verses in there, we would have to like insert it in. God literally says, you know, you need to be able, for those who trespass you, and if you want me to forgive you for the trespass of, you know, of your trespasses. So you have to understand that we're not perfect. Everyone is going to make mistakes. Everyone is at some point is going to hurt someone else, whether it's intentional or not.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we all are going through our own things, and sometimes we do things that is just simply not right. You have to be able to move forward with the past, and you have to be able to forgive, whether they apologize or not, whether they're remorseful or not. It doesn't matter. You have to do it for yourself, because one day you're going to need God to forgive you for something that you've done, whether it was to anyone else, whether it was something that you did to God himself. It doesn't matter. You're going to need forgiveness too, because we're living in a life of sin. So if you want God, just like how you want God to have that grace and mercy on you, you must be able to do that to them. And another, you know, everybody knows that one, even with Jesus, even Jesus was, you know, very forgiving. And even when those people, like, I think a man had one point, he said, if somebody slap you, turn around and give them the other cheek to slap them. You feel me? It's just basically, we have to forgive. You can't hold it on. And another, in Ecclesiastics too, if you read that whole entire chapter about the wise man, you know, he constantly talks about, at one point he talks about the youth, and he says to enjoy the present day, to enjoy your day and eat and drink and enjoy your time. So if you're still stuck on the past, you're not going to be able to be present, and you're not going to be able to be mindful,
Right.
you know, and you're just going to be going through life stuck back there when everybody else is just moving forward.
Right.
You have to be able to forgive. It's for you. It's not for the other person. Forgiveness does not mean what they did. Like, you know, Bethany said, it doesn't mean that what they did was right or okay, but you got to do it for yourself in order to really have a fulfilling life.
Yeah, honestly. And you know, what's crazy is that, you know, other people hurt you and now you're broken. And, you know, what it says is hurt people. So even though you are intentionally not trying to hurt anyone else, but you holding on to what you know, your trauma, your hurt, your pain from what they did to you, you're subconsciously, you know, hurting someone else as well, whether that you being, you know, absent-minded with your children. Now they feel as if they don't have someone who is there for them, you know, emotionally, mentally, you know, they are present for them, or whether it be your spouse, you know, and they feel as if they're getting the aggressive you, and that you're constantly pinning what someone else did onto them, and you're trying to make them the bad guy when they really didn't do anything but try to love you. You know what I'm saying? And I see that a lot, because I talk to a lot of my friends, and you know, they have traumas, and you know, they lash out on their spouses by what they've been through, like, oh, you're acting just like this person, and and then you're gonna do this next, and it's like, you have to be able to know that this person that's in your life is not here to hurt you. That's why you have to really like let go, forgive, separate from that, and like be willing to move forward to be a better you. Like you're gonna hurt people if you don't become a better version. And you know, I know that people don't want to be the reason why somebody else is going through depression. You know what I'm saying? Like that would suck. As like, that would just really suck. So honestly, hurt people, do your work to become the best self. You know, everyone is going to benefit from you being the best version of you. You're going to show up to work happy. Your kids are going to get the best version of you. Your husband or your spouse, your boyfriend's going to get the best version of you. Your friends are going to get the best version of you. Your family, like everything blesses from you being the best version of yourself.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Number 3. Go ahead.
Okay, so that one, I have realized who is in charge.
Mm.
And you know, we as humans, we all naturally, we want to be in control. We know what we want. We think we know what we want. We think we know what's best for us.
Yeah.
You know, we know what kind of jobs we want to do. We know how many kids we want to have. We know what kind of car we want to drive. We know what kind of man or woman that we need in our lives. We know what kind of lifestyle that we want. We just know everything. We are fully in control. Yeah. We know what school we want to go to. We know what foods we need to eat or don't eat. We believe that we are fully in control in our lives. And truthfully, we are not. Truthfully, we are not. And that in itself can be a completely separate video. Yeah. Because this goes really deep, and for several reasons, because the person who's actually in charge is God. Yeah. Whether you believe in him or not, he is still going to be in charge. Right. You know, so when it comes to, you know, you wanting this huge house, you wanting to, you know, accomplish these things. And when you attempt to accomplish these things and they fail, and then you try again, and then it fails, and we try again, and then it fails. And then we get into a depressive state, like, oh, I can't do this. I'm stressed out. I mean, I'm not good enough. I can't, you know, live up to these expectations. I'm struggling. It's hard, this and this and that. And we need to sit down with ourselves and say, okay, if I tried 30 times to do this and it did not work for me, there got to be a reason. Yeah. It has to be a reason. And then you realize that, okay, what you have to ask yourself, what does God want me to do? Because he clearly does not want me to do that. He clearly does not want me to be a doctor. So now what? You know, and that's when you have to humble yourself, and you have to take self-awareness and say, you know, you need to pray to God and say, hey, you know, I attempted to go to school. I keep applying for school, you know, for this, you know, certain program. I keep getting dismissed. I tried another school. I got dismissed. Okay, at this point, I get it. So what exactly should I be doing? And you have to ask for direction and guidance at that point. Right. You know, and so I feel like a lot of sometimes a lot of depression comes from people trying to do things that God does not need them to do or
Right.
doesn't want to do. And so you're serving a personal and self purpose, that's not meant for you. And that's why you fail, at those things. And then you feel like you yourself is a failure, but that's not true. It's just whatever you're trying to achieve is not what God intended for you to do.
Or
So
maybe
I'll let
even
you.
like how he intended, because like for me, as I study more and more and more and more and get into the scriptures and the word, I really find that, you get up when people say find your purpose or discover your purpose, it's kind of like it is a journey. It's not something that, you have a purpose for a different season of in every season of your life. And so if you feel the need that you want to go out and you want to be a nurse, you want to go out and you want to be a lawyer, you want to go out and you want to be a chef or a makeup artist, you get that sense from something, you know what I mean? Like you get it from somewhere, and the way that you're supposed to do it is where it's tricky, because you want to do it on your own measure, your own time. Like, okay, by this time, I'm going to be this, by this, I'm going to be this, by this, I'm going to be this. And you get this rush to do things. And so when you feel like, okay, God, you've placed it on my heart, or maybe I've placed it on my heart, whoever knows where this feeling came from, that I want to be a doctor. And I'm going out here and I'm applying to all the medical schools and I'm not getting in, and I'm just, something is going wrong. And God is just kind of like, the way that I ordained for you to do this is, yes, you're going to go through, letdowns and things like that. But I have another way for you to become a doctor. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about like that one phony kid doctor that was like, you know what I'm saying? But like maybe, instead of just applying to that school because you're not financially able to, maybe start, reading medical books and things like that. And from there you can
start off with being a nurse.
Right. And then
work your way
tutoring other people, and from there you're helping other people achieve their knowledge in becoming a medical doctor. And from tutoring, now you getting the funds to become a doctor yourself. And so now you're not only helping yourself become a doctor, but you're helping a whole community of people by what you're learning. So it's like the way that you're supposed to be a doctor is different from what everybody else did. Because what I find in the Bible as I keep reading is that God has his own versions of doing things. Like the most fun, the funniest thing to me in the Bible is when they had to pay the tax, and he told that, I forgot which person he was talking to. I don't know if it was Peter or someone in there. He was talking and he was like, go grab the fish from the sea and open its mouth and you're going to find the money in there for the taxes. And I thought that was so gangster. Like normally, people get money by doing things and like, working and things like that. And here he is telling you to pick up a fish and do it that way. Or like when it never rained and he told Noah to go ahead and build his boat and things like that, and people were looking at him crazy. Like God has a certain way he wants you to do things just to shine his greatness, just to show, that he has a way of making something out of nothing. Absolutely. And so, realizing that he's an commercial break. Yes. Anyways, collecting my thoughts. So another point that I wanted to make under this who is in control aspect is that in this world, we have a false sense of control. We have a false sense of freedom, I should say, is that this world or this life is trying to sell you freedom, or you're the free to do anything you want in life, and you're free to be who you want to be. But ultimately, whatever you are serving or whatever you're giving yourself to is what has control over you. So let's say you're trying to supplement and say, I'm in control of my own life. And you're like, I'm free to be who I want to be. And I just want to be, liberated sexually or whatever. And now it's like, what's really in control of your life is sex. And like, the same way with God, it's like if you give him control and realize he's in control, then everything that you would like is going to be added on to you. So I don't want you to feel as if like when you surrender to God, like, oh my God, your life is going to be so boring and you're not going to be able to do what you want to do. Ultimately, he's going to add in and give you exactly what you want. And he's going to help you accomplish the goals that you want, but he's going to do it in a way that gives him glory. So you're still going to be that doctor. You're still going to be, the best mom you want to be. You're still going to be the greatest wife. You're still going to be successful and have all this wealth, but the wealth may not be monetary. It may be in another way. It may be that you're so full of life and that you never go without, that you always have enough money. You always have more than enough to share with people. You have a roof over your head. You're just, everything that you need is always supplied to you. So you're wealthy in a way, but you're just not like, riches with all the diamonds and the glitter and the gold. You know what I mean? So, yeah. I mean, if you realize what really has control over your life, that's another way to get out of depression, is just to really identify, like, who are you serving? You know what I mean? And like realize who is sitting on the throne of your heart. So I just wanted to make that quick note under that. Let's see here. Number 4 goes to altering or renewing your thoughts. Now, I am wearing a sweater from my church, Journey Church, shameless plug. And one of the things that we have after every service is, you do not conform to the ways of this world, but live transformed. And really that comes from the scripture, Romans 12:2. And I really think that's like such a powerful scripture, is because, like I was just saying earlier, this world will make you think like, you have to do some things by a certain age, or you have to do some things in a certain way, or you have to live your life in a fashion. And like, they're telling you all these rules that they are living by. But if you can see, the world is a broken world, and everybody who looks at the world says that. So why take advice from a broken place? You know what I'm saying? Instead, renew your mind and realize, like, I can make my own ways of happiness, and like, let me follow the person who led a sinless life. Let me see what they did. What are they teaching me to do? And like, really just reading the scriptures. And like, they say this world will tell you, don't donate to people, take it all for yourself. The more you have, the better. Just worry about yourself, get yourself up, and leave everyone else behind. And God is saying, love people, help others, give me 10%. He's telling you all these things. So the world will always conflict with what God is saying. And so you really have to realize and break those strongholds that the world is making you believe, because that's what got you into depression in the first place, is feeling inadequate and feeling like the way the world is telling me to live, I'm not happy. The world operates on likes and views and all this stuff. And God is telling you, hey, just, live, be happy, be merry, love your neighbors, love yourself, love me. Just, like, it's okay. Don't worry about tomorrow. And people is like, oh no, your future, you need to do this. You need to do this. Especially parents, they can hound it on you. Like, you need to be somebody. And God is just like, hey, dwell with me, and it'll all be get taken care of. Like, you really have to figure out which mindset you're going to follow, because you're always going to be in this tug and pull with the world and with God. So when it comes to renewing your thoughts, just like after every sermon that we hear in church, we really restate that quote: "You're not conformed to the ways of this world." Like, what I just taught you, it's not going to be what the world teaches you when you go out these double doors. So transform your mind. You know better, so do better. Really live by that. And so reciting that every single Sunday for like the past 3 years of my life really has helped me, because, when it comes to certain things that I learn when I'm in church and things that I see out in the world, I'm just kind of like, well, like, my flesh wants to do this, but I know, I'm not supposed to do that. And like, when you are constantly feeding your flesh, it will never be satisfied. So you really have to feed your spiritual self. Like, you really do, because that's that's what's going to bring you fulfillment and joy and get you out of that depressed state, because this world is a broken world. So my take on that one.
I mean, I don't even I mean, I think you kind of hit it right on the head. That's absolute. You know, wow, that was a mouthful. The only thing I can just say is you know, what you said was definitely right. The things that of this world is definitely going to be confusing,
Yeah.
and it's going to contradict itself.
Mm-hmm.
And the things of the world is really not going to bring you true happiness, because the world, like you said, wants you to be selfish. It wants you to be a little greedy. It wants you to be goal oriented, money oriented, only pleasing the flesh.
Mm-hmm.
As far as God is complete opposite. God wants you to do things that are more internal, you know, being honest, being having morals, being wise, being patient, being kind, being understanding and loving, you know, loving him, seeking him, loving yourself, seeking your like, you know, loving your neighbors as much as you love yourself, you know. So those things are the things that are going to be, you know, going to bring you genuine joy and genuine fulfillment. You know, as far as the world, you're going to always be chasing something. It's just, you know, like the Bible, like in Ecclesiastics, you're going to be chasing the wind.
Right.
You're never going to have full fulfillment. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter how many people you slept with. It doesn't matter how many trips you've taken. It doesn't matter how long your hair is, how good your makeup is, how many bags and purses and shoes you have. Internally, if you're not happy and you're not fulfilling your spirit, and you're only fulfilling your flesh and the worldly things, you'll never have genuine joy. And joy is different from happiness. Happiness is, oh, you know, I got you know, my favorite, like, I have a purse. I love it. Thank you. Oh, I love it. It's so cute. I love it. That's happiness. Happiness is temporary. Happiness is instant gratification. Joy is how you feel from inside. It doesn't matter where you are. You will be happy where you are at home. You'll be happy if you lost it tomorrow. Yes, you'll feel that burden. You'll feel stressed, but you know in your heart that, yes, I may have lost my home, but I know that God got me. You know, I know that I'm going to be okay. I know that, you know, things will get figured out. And you understand that you still value your life. You still, you know, value the people around you. You still value your morals and, you know, and things like of that nature. So no matter what you go through in life, that joy and that internal joy that you have for yourself, that love that you have for yourself, and that love and the fear that you have of God is going to carry, it's going to be everlasting.
Yeah. Honestly, so, like just as you said, and honestly, what I want to add on to it, it kind of ties into our next point, but honestly, you know, just being mindful of your thoughts, really being mindful of your thoughts when it comes to renewing your mind, because you have to take captive of your thoughts. You really do, because it's so easy for us to spiral. Like, we're thinking about, you know, we're sitting here in this present time, but now we're thinking about all the things that we could have did, or all the things that we should be doing, and all the things, like, your mind starts to spiral, and then you fall into this place where it's like you're thinking, oh, I'm not enough, or I'm this, or I'm that. And it's like, soon as you start thinking that way, in the Bible it says, as a man thinketh, so is he. So if you're thinking that you're not enough, you're thinking that you're not this, you're going to eventually become that, because the way that you think goes ahead and it's followed up by your behaviors. So you really have to be mindful of, you know, what you are saying to yourself. Like, absolutely, the way you talk to yourself is vital. And I think that's just going to go right into point number 5, is setting up a spiritual life, or affirmations. Now, this has become a trending topic all over social media, and it's been, you know, just a mind boggling concept that, you know, the way that you talk to yourself and what you recite is really what you start to believe. And honestly, if you don't have a spiritual connection with God, form one, you know, definitely get to know him. But even for those who are not spiritual, affirmations is a great way to renew your mind. Just waking up every day. I know on my personal channel, Just Vetted, I have these affirmations where I say, you are alive, you are blessed, you are loved, you are worthy, you are so worthy.
No, I know it by heart.
And I honestly say that in order and in a specific way, because I first and foremost want people to know that you are alive. Like, you have breath within your lungs. You didn't die in your sleep. You didn't die, yesterday. You have another chance to get it right. You have another day on this earth to do what you were called to do. So I really want people to be aware of like the affirmations that they say to themselves, and like really what you start to say is what you start to believe and what you start to draw to you. A lot of people have this concept of like, what you put out you will get back, and it's very true. It even says it in the Bible, if you give, so much is going to be given back to you, shaken, push, press down, run it over. I don't know the specific way scripture saying it, but definitely whatever you give, it will return to you. So if you're giving positive energy, like, okay, you wake up this morning and you just say thank you for another day, you're just going to be so fulfilled that you are still here, rather than being like, oh, I have to go to work. Oh my gosh. And then I have to like go to school. And then, oh my gosh, I don't like this person. And they're going to say something to me. And oh, traffic is always bad. You're calling all of that negativity to yourself. You're going to call a bad day to yourself. That's why when I'm the most tired in the morning, I get in my car, turn on some worship music, and I say, today's going to be a great day. I'm going to get a lot done. I'm going to bless so many people. I say these things to myself as I'm driving to work, because I'm like, I'm just thankful that I even have a job. I have a job that could provide for me through this crazy inflation. I'm going to have a great day. There's going to be somebody out there who needs my help, and I'm going to be able to help them. Like, you have to start creating that. And I really do be having the best days on those days that I am most tired. I be getting the most done, because why? I said it to myself, as a man thinketh, so is he. So definitely what you rehearse, like these affirmations. I don't know if you have specific affirmations you want to share with them, Jessica.
Sure. So I just got into I've been listening to different affirmations, but I like to now tie mine in with biblical scriptures and things like that, because I feel like that hits me closer to home. So the most important thing, I feel like this the verse in the Bible where it talks about the power of the tongue, and that there's life and death in the power of the tongue. Ever since I read that verse, I was like, oh, okay, because as you guys do not know, but I had battled depression for basically about a year, and it was really tough. And I realized that I was making it worse because I started to believe the negative things that I would say about myself, or tell myself. And I realized that once it got to a point where I got tired, and I just got to a point where I just was so like unhappy with myself. And once I read that verse, I realized, I'm like, okay, I'm not helping my situation. I need to change. So instead of waking up and was like, oh, like Vedleen said, I got to go to work today. I already don't want to be there. I got to fake smile. I got to fake be happy, because deep down inside, I'm sad. I just want to be home. I just want to be in my blanket, and I just want to eat a tub of ice cream. I don't want to talk to nobody. I'm going to be around nobody. And so that was always my thought. And then when it got to a point where I woke up and I'm like, you know what? I'm grateful that I woke up today. I'm grateful that I woke up in this bed. I have pillows. I have sheets. I'm grateful for my son, who I get to see smile every single day. He's so happy to see me. I'm grateful for this job that I have. I'm grateful for the car that I have to drive into to make it to my job, because just those things that I listed, it may not seem a lot to you or to some people, but there's people right now that are praying for those things.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? And so I started to train myself to show more gratitude to God for the things that I have. And over a period of time, because it's not going to happen overnight.
Oh no.
Once I started over a period of time and I became consistent, I became more grateful for just even the lowest thing. Like, thank you, God, for this bag of chips, because I was actually really hungry, and I didn't have no time to go into lunch today. So thank you, Lord, for this food. Thank you for the friends that text me to check up on me to make sure I'm good. Thank you for just anything that I can see that I realize is helping me, even if it's small. It really made a big difference. And I feel like that's one of the steps that really helped me, overcome the depression, because I really felt like, okay, like I was the bottom of the bottom, like,
right.
and and so it really, really helped me. So positive affirmations is very important. And another thing that you need to understand is, like, no matter what you're going through in life, you know, no matter where you are in life, no matter, you have something to be grateful for. And at the end of the day, even if you really can't find it, every day above ground is a blessing, because that's an opportunity for you to, whatever you feel like you're lacking, whatever you, it's a chance.
Yeah.
And a chance is something that people do not have the opportunity anymore.
No.
So whatever you're going through, whatever your battles are, whatever struggles you're going through, you're going to be able to overcome it. Take it day by day and thank God for the things that you currently have while you're, and you know, faith without works is dead. So you definitely do have to put in the work. So
Right.
no matter what you're going through, put in that work to overcome that while you're praying and while you're grateful for what you already have. And once you do that, your mindset over time, because like I said, this is not overnight. We're
No.
humans. We literally have to reprogram ourselves. It's just like how when you're going into a depression, it's a slippery slope, and you just slowly start to decline. It's the same thing when you're building your way back up.
Yes.
So talk to yourself gentle. And another verse that I have to refer back to is, you have to love, like, do not forget this. This is very important, because I didn't realize how deep this verse goes, because I used to be like, oh yeah, love yourself like, you know, the way you would love your neighbors. Understand how deep that goes. It doesn't mean like, oh, just treat everyone nice. No, the way that you treat yourself, the way that you value yourself, the way that you love yourself is only so far it will go when it comes to treating other people. So if you see people out here walking around hurting people, not caring this and this and that, they do not love themselves and they're not pleased with themselves. If you're in a relationship and you're battling something, if you're a mother or father, whatever, and you're battling something, your love for them could only go so far. You must love yourself first before, and you must love yourself enough in order for you to love other people, because however you love and treat yourself and see yourself, is you're going to be able to exude that with when it comes to dealing with other people. So that's something that was really important to me, especially the fact of me being a mother. And I realized that, okay, if I'm not happy with myself and I'm sad and I'm down, when my son comes home from daycare and he wants to play and interact and have fun, I'm not fully there. I'm not fully present because I'm too busy in my own head. So once I realized that, okay, I need to really genuinely do things to love myself and really understand where, what's going on within, because if I'm going to be the mother that I want to be, I need to be the best me, so that whatever I'm feeling, that love, that contentment, that joy, that happiness, when I'm dealing with him, when I'm caring for him, I'm able to exude that and and express that through him too. So, and that's the only thing I want to definitely add on to that. So like just to recoup, start from the ground up, just be grateful for what you have now. Be grateful if you're able to eat, even if you gotta, if you're able to order something from DoorDash, if you're able to eat at McDonald's, whatever it is, be grateful for that, because there's somebody out there that are praying for them to have a meal today.
Oh, people are praying to actually eat through their mouth. Some people have to be fed through a tube. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many ways that you can look at that. And I wanted to piggyback before I forget on what you just said when it says you have to love yourself in order to love other people. I went a little bit deeper into that as well, because I read that verse as well, and it hit home for me. And we're going to do a video on that as well when it comes to like self-love and stuff like that. And that's where we will expand a little bit more. But I also wanted to talk about the way that you love yourself is showing people what you are allowing, and that's how they will treat you in return. So the way that you love yourself is very, very important, because other people will see what you allow and it will continue. Okay, so just be very mindful of that. That's just going to be a little bit of tease right there for our self-love video. But that is very important. So be very mindful of that as well. There's a little bit more on affirmation. Let me see. Just I don't know, like I think we basically said everything. It's just the way that you talk to yourself. And I don't want people to think that to ignore what's really going on with you. Like, don't ignore the fact that you're still sad and just try to fake it and be like, oh, I'm happy that I'm just here, but like inside you're still hurting. I really want you to take these affirmations and really like meditate on them and just understand that you know, whatever you're going through, it is still big, and it does matter, but at least change the way you perceive it, so that way you can be able to go through it a little bit more with less weight. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense, like you'll be able to ease through it. Why are you burdened with something and you're stressing over something that will resolve itself, you know, down the line? Instead, you could just be happy and go through it, and it'll resolve itself. And what's the difference between those two is, one, you were anxious, you were miserable, and the other one, you were happy through the process. So very much your perspective is really how you're going to be able to live. It's just changing your perspective. Like,
That's exactly what I was talking about earlier when I was speaking about joy and happiness, the difference. Because joy, you know, and another verse in the Bible too, that we have to put it in there somewhere, is in the Bible, it states specifically that there's going to be a day for you to cry. No, there's going to be a time for you to cry. There's going to be a time for you to laugh. There's going to be a time for you to, you know, to be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor. There's going to be times where you really have to put in work. So understand that life it's going to have its up and downs. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. So
Jesus said it.
Yeah, Jesus said it. It's going to happen. Nobody's going to go through a smooth sailing life, because at that point your faith will never be tested. How do you know if your faith is strong in God, or even if you don't believe in God, faith is strong in yourself, because you have to believe in yourself. And so you have to love yourself. How do you know if you've never gone through anything? Just like if you in a relationship, in a marriage, when a relationship and everything's just always been smooth sailing, how do you ever know if this person is genuinely, when things get hard, is that person genuinely going to be loyal to you? Is that person going to really have your back? Is that person really there through thick and thin and ups and downs? Are they really going to be there for you? You will never answer that. You can't never answer those questions unless you go through some things. And I feel like that's the reason why, you know, in life, we go through what we go through.
Right. Just to piggyback a little bit on that, is just, I just had like a brain fart, but what we're not trying to say right here is that your situation will change. Like Jessica said, it doesn't happen overnight. Your situation will not change, but your mindset has to, in order to be able to get through what you're going through. Because honestly, if you think about depression and anxiety, it's just in your thoughts. It really is your thoughts and your emotions and all that. And so if you can control that, if you can get control of it, and you can take captive of your thoughts and your emotion and correct it into what God is saying to you and what you should be following, then you're going to have a smoother sail. Like, the whole purpose of this video is steps to heal, how to get out of depression, how to, you know, become that. So really your situation won't change. Life is just going to throw you tragedies, but your mindset to those tragedies is going to be the way that you're going to be victorious. So definitely stay tenacious. You know what I'm saying?
Stay tenacious, for sure. For sure.
And then the last and final point that we have for you guys is to be present in the season that you are in.
This is my favorite one.
I think
one of my favorite ones.
You can start it off, because like this one is so. This is something I just recently learned.
Yeah, that one I love, simply because, like I was a little kind of like what I was saying earlier, that one really helped me, you know, start the process of being able to get out of my depression, because being present and which is also like, you know, being mindful and being grateful and appreciative of what you have currently. Because like I said, some people get so caught up in their past, people get caught up in their future, that they are not living for now. They're not appreciating, you know, the life that they're living. Doesn't matter what kind of life. And we miss out on so many different things when you're too busy stuck in the past, which is already gone. It can't be changed. And when you're stuck in the future, which it hasn't even happened yet, and technically you don't have any control over.
Yeah.
So be mindful, because life is already short. You know what I'm saying? And you're worried. What if you're worried so much about tomorrow, but you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow?
You don't.
And it might not even go the way you thought it was going to go. So all that worrying you're doing now it's going to be meaningless
It's
tomorrow.
meaningless. It's so
Yes.
meaningless. Yes. Like
So
you
that's
are
what it goes
correct.
back to, what we were saying, like what's important to you, whether it's family, whether it's peace, whatever it may be. Um, Enjoy where you at now. Be grateful. Whatever is important to you, do it. Work on it. It's okay to, if it's okay to take breaks. It's okay to take pauses. Even God had a day where he rested. It's okay to, to enjoy where you at now. It's okay to just pause from the hard work that you're putting in, just to whatever it is, go to the beach and read a book, just to, being able to just, sing a song out loud, no matter what it is that brings you that peace and that fulfillment. Just do it, because there's no point of stressing over the past and the future. You just don't have any control over it anymore. It is what it is. And it's just be present, just be mindful, and just enjoy the people who are around you. Enjoy the blessings of God. Even sometimes when I walk outside and I just look at the sky and I see the birds flying, I just be in awe. Especially when I'm driving on the way to work and I see the sun starting to set. I'm in awe of it. And because I realize that, we get so caught up in technology and Instagram, social media, da 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 da, that even, seeing little things like birds fly, and even seeing like a butterfly, even seeing little things like a rainbow, or going to the beach and watching the waves crash on the shore. It's those things are beautiful. God created this world so beautifully. And
Yeah.
sometimes you just need to, like some people say, you need to stop and smell the flowers. You really do. You really do. Stop and smell the flowers. Enjoy life, man. It's a blessing to be on this earth. Like we every second on here, I mean, on this earth, living, be grateful of it. Be grateful. Be grateful of the people that care about you or in your life. Be grateful, like I said, even if you feel like you don't have anything to be grateful for, step outside and look at the sky.
Hello.
If you live in Florida, depending on what time, because you just never know. But
Oh boy, them 30-minute walks. Remember that?
No, 30 minutes. I'm telling you, sometimes you have to just get out and just take a walk. Sometimes you just need to just become present in whatever you're doing, and just really enjoy it and really be grateful.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. We're going to wrap it up really, really fast. I just wanted to go ahead and touch up on this really fast, is that be present to where you are. I took it a different way. I took the reason why I got to this point is like, I kept on asking myself, why does this keep happening? Why do I keep reliving these same situations in a different day and a different person and a different thing? Why is it that I'm constantly reliving this? And it's because you didn't grasp the lesson that you were supposed to learn. You didn't grasp what you were there to do, or you didn't give what you were supposed to give to someone who needed it in that present moment. So it's like you are in a season of your life for a reason, whether it's to teach someone, whether it's to learn something, whether it's to just, be an answered prayer to someone. And so you're so focused on getting there and getting there and getting there, and there is taken care of. And you're stressing yourself about a story that he's already written, which is like one of my favorite quotes by somebody unknown, but you're stressing about something that he's already taken care of. And if you look at the word there, it's just here with the T in front of it, which is like God taking care of there. And you really just have to focus on here, because it's like, if you focus on here and then you add God in it, you will get there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So really focus on here. What are you trying to learn? What is it he's trying to teach you? What is it that you have to give? What are the qualities that you possess that can help others in this situation? Or what is he trying to teach you? Is he trying to teach you patience, kindness? Is he trying to teach you to be forgiving? Is he trying to teach you to do something? And then he will guide you and move you there. You will gradually just keep moving and growing with him, because there is taken care of, because he's with you, but you have to focus on your here. And that's where I got that point from, is just really being present and where you are, and doing the best that you can do where he placed you. Like some of you guys are just like, oh, I'm at a fast food restaurant, I ain't got nothing to do here. But really, you're helping, the owner of it, because I used to work for Domino's, and it was a man who, well, was he Indian? I think, I don't know where he was from, but he was running two chain restaurants, and having just a dependable employee can make the world of difference when you're trying to run your own business. So just being the best employee you can be, it really helps someone else out, also help you out because you gain favor with the manager. Now, if you need a day off, now you can get it easily because he knows the type of person you are. And also you're giving the best service to somebody out there who probably you don't know their story. You don't know if this is the first meal that they're going to eat or the last meal they're going to eat, or if this is just, whatever their story is walking in, and to just get the pizza or something, like just to get the best customer service, it makes a world of difference. So you'll feel like, oh, I'm just so small here, but really your presence can change the way that people like just have hope in the world. It's just by you being the best self that you can be. You help out the manager, you help out the customers, and you get fulfillment. And from there, you will gradually go up in the workforce because you're constantly just doing your best at every state you can. And just money will be attracted to you just because of the person you are. So don't feel as if, oh, because of where you are, you have no difference or whatever. Like, that's why they always say that the Chick-fil-A commercials versus the McDonald's workers, like, the customer service is so different and your experience is so different. It's true. Like, if you really just think about it, like they're still fast food workers at the end of the day, but the way that they treat you and make you feel, one is more appealing to you to go to versus the other one because of just how you're treated. Even if you pay more, you just want that experience. You know what I mean? So just be focused on who you are, do your best at where you are, and it'll all just, be given to you. There is taken care of. Focus on your here. And that is my little wrap up.
Yeah. And the only thing I'm going to just add on to that from what you were saying, when it comes to when you feel like you're not doing anything, or if you're not serving a purpose, if you have those questions, or if you're questioning about what you're doing, and when you're being mindful and being present, pray about it. Just pray about it. One of my favorite things that I love to do, I love when I'm like on my way to work and I'm looking at the blue skies as I'm driving. And at that moment, I pray. I pray. I talk to God. I'm about to be on my way to work. This is what I want to do. This is what what the setup and what I'm going to do as soon as I get in the office. And I also always ask for guidance. Always ask for guidance. Always show gratitude, and just and just tell him, like, hey, even if you don't understand what you're doing at that moment, just pray to him and say, hey, I work at a fast food restaurant. Like, using your example, I work at a fast food restaurant, but I feel like me being there is completely worthless. So, just show me what I need to see. Is this somewhere I need to be, or do I need to move forward, and do something else where I can actually feel like I'm being used in the proper way. And if you continue to ask, because you're not going to get the answer the same night, you can, because God can do anything, but just genuinely ask God, whatever questions that you have in your heart, and he will answer those questions. He most definitely will. So you don't ever have to feel like what you're doing is completely unnecessary, or it's not worthy enough, or it's not good enough, or feel like you're not adding any value. Every single one of us add a value in some way, shape, or form. We all have serving a separate, different purpose. And the only person that can help you really find that purpose is God. So just pray to him, and he'll show you what you need to do. And like I said, be mindful at that moment. Take a break, take a pause from everything that you're doing, and really evaluate your life and where you at. And whatever you need to know, he'll show you.
Right. Because both Jessica and I started at fast food restaurants, and now we're paralegals. And it took us to be at fast food to learn customer service, because now we're on the phone all day talking to people. We had to learn how to talk to people. You can't just you have to be very professional. So where you are, it teaches you what you need to the skills that are necessary to acquire to go to the next step. So whatever, when you're praying to God, why am I here? He's going to show you, hey, I'm trying to teach you customer service. I'm trying to teach you patience, because now you're on hold times forever. And I'm trying to teach you how to be kind. I'm trying to teach you how to be respectful, how to, now you're not only a worker, now you're a manager. I'm trying to teach you how to get more responsibility, how to manage your time better, how to lead other people. There's so many things that you learn as a fast food worker, as just a janitor, as whatever. that you're going to need those skills to acquire to get to the next level of your life. So don't ever think that where you are, you're just worthless. Like you said, Jessica, everyone has a value and adds a value to an environment. So really focus on where you are. You are adding value to someone's life. I promise you, you are you're important. You are valued and you're important. You're worthy. But yes, I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching this video. Like, comment, subscribe, not teach us. Comment down below what you learned, what other videos you would like us to do. We are going to be doing guest callers as well. We're going to add you to the Zoom link, and we're going to have guests on that way. So if you want to be a guest, definitely email us at tenaciouswomenenergy at gmail.com, and
it'll be in the description as well, just in case.
Yes, send us your questions, send us your stories. Just go ahead and share with us any way you would like. We may read your letter here and, you know, answer your questions as best as we can, do a separate video on it, or even add you as a guest caller if you're comfortable with doing that as well. So get you into the conversation. But definitely wanted to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate you guys. Stay tenacious is really like the goal here.
Right. We are so grateful to have you guys watching this show and going through this journey with us, because this is a journey for both of us. So, you know, it's a learning experience, and we would love to see and hear your feedback. Yeah. And if you are, you know, thinking about, you know, getting into a spiritual journey or a journey of, you know, just trying to be the best person, as your best self, just join us, you know, write us, let us know. We definitely want to be able to be here to support you guys, to show you guys love. We're gonna, you know, throughout our videos, you're gonna learn more, learn more about us and what we've gone through and how we've gotten here. So I just want to say, just end it off as, I hope you guys, you know, learn something from what we talked about. And I hope this moves someone. As long as it's just one person, then I'm great with that. And and you know, just I forgot what I was gonna say.
It's all right. That was beautiful. That was a beautiful closing. I'm so excited for everything that we're about to do. So thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, stay tenacious.
Bye. Love you guys. Bye. Thank you.